Welcome to the Online Car Show channel. I'm James, and today we're going to be going over why I didn't purchase a new Corvette C8. So without hesitation, let's go ahead and get this video started. All right, well, I don't like doing negative videos and stuff out there, but I feel like this is a subject that that hits a lot of people, and a lot of people out there are struggling trying to get a new Corvette C8. So I thought I'd put this out there and just kind of share some of the struggles and stuff that I went through, and maybe it'll help y'all, you know, with whatever you're going through, or to help find a better option or whatnot. And just to start this off, I guess, in my thought process and the history that went by, when I was selling the ZR1, there were three cars I was thinking about for filling the spot. One of them was of course, the car I'm got in the garage right now, the 718 Cayman GTS. Another car was an old late 60s to early 70s, you know, early model C3 Corvette. What is that, 68 through 71 or something like that, the early body style. The third thing I was looking at was a new Corvette C8, not the Z06. I was just wanting the Stingray's C8. Wouldn't want to go all out with the power, but one of the things I did want was I wanted a museum delivery. You know, I've seen this before with Corvettes, and it's kind of makes it special going up to the museum and the factory, getting your Corvette, getting the walkthrough from the museum director or whoever does it there, and all that. It just kind of makes the car a little more special. Plus they put a badge in the car with your name on it saying museum delivery, and it also honestly adds a little bit of value to your car, having a Corvette with a VIN number that's attached to a museum delivery. You know, the ZR1 was my third Corvette. This would be my fourth, and I just wanted that special museum delivery. You know, after owning three Corvettes before and all that, just wanted to go through that, you know, fly up to Bowling Green, get the Corvette. But anyways, make a long story short, y'all know the situation with the C8. There's 50,000 people that want them, and they're only making, you know, there's 50,000 people a year that want them, and they're only making, you know, 20,000 or whatever. I don't even know if they're hitting that number, but anyways, there's way more demand than there actually is supply of the car. So that has just led to all kinds of mess. I can't even begin to get in. It's going to be hard to cover it in this video, but basically one of the things I did when I started looking for a C8 as an option, I started going dealer to dealer, and I literally opened Google Maps and looked up Chevy dealers and just started calling one after the other, after the other, after the other, trying to figure out the whole allocation thing and get my, you know, thought process around what Chevy's actually doing with the allocation. And the allocation also relates to basically how many Corvettes and stuff that dealer is selling. So, you know, my thought process, well, I'll try a different, smaller dealer out in the middle of the country. Maybe I can get a Corvette that way. Nope. Some of the dealers I talked to out in the country and stuff only got 2 allocations for the entire year of 2022. And they had a list that was 20 or 30 people long, even out there. So it's a mess. That's all I can say. It's a huge mess. And Chevy is not, they're not taking control of these dealerships. The dealerships are really taking advantage of people. And I'm going to get into something else that Chevy's actually doing to take advantage of people by the end of the video, but we're going to start with the dealers. The dealers, it was a huge mess. And I'm not going to mention any dealers by name and in negative context. I don't want to, you know, throw poop at the fan or whatever you want to call it, but I just don't want to be that person. I'm only going to mention names if it's in a positive light. And the And the whole thing I will mention, and that's classic Chevrolet Sugarland. They actually told me that they would sell me a Corvette C8 at MSRP, whatever the website said at the time my allocation came up. So if it's a 22-month waiting list, 22 months go by, I would pay for the Corvette at whatever the website price was for the car with that options at that time, 22 months in advance or whatever. So they were at least offering me MSRP and not trying to gouge me and all that stuff like a lot of other dealers. But because of that, their dealership, the poor guy there is just, I mean, he's running around with his head chopped off. It's crazy. They had a list that was 22 months long, and he couldn't promise that it would be any shorter than that. It could be longer. So, wow, you know, that's 2 years. That's gonna, and then when you consider the timing of what month it is right now, you know, that would have been October's time frame or whenever, so it would have been the end of the year, so that would have been next year's model. So in reality, that's a car 3 years from now. Plus I would have been waiting after that 22 months for them to build the car, so we'd be looking at 3 months on top of that 22. That's over 2 years waiting for a car, and that's a base model Corvette. Their list for a Z06, they said they had 587 people on the list. So if I were to go on that list, I would probably get a Z06 when the C9 came out, is basically what they were, just honest and upfront. And that's the truth. Good luck getting the Z06 for anywhere near MSRP. That was, like I said, the best dealer I talked to. It got way worse from there. Another classic Chevrolet, I'm not going to say who in town, they offered to get me in the list 3 or 4 months, but I would paying a $10,000 charge for skipping the list. That would not go to the car or anything, it would just go straight to the dealership. And wow, Chevrolet, for allowing that to even exist. It's just messed up. But anyways, called in this, that was actually one of the better ones. I called other dealerships. I did get a price somewhere in Texas. It was in the middle of freaking nowhere in South Texas near the border. Some dealerships said $5,000 and they could do it in 3 or 4 months. But that $5,000 went to, like I said, it didn't go to the car. He claimed it went to a charity, that they were giving that money to a charity, which that makes absolutely no sense. Why am I going to spend $5,000 over a car and you're not even taking the money, but that $5,000 is going to a charity? I'm going to call bullshit. But it was horrible. I mean, it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. No, it is the worst experience I've ever had dealing with the car. And now let's get into the other gripe I have, which is more Chevy related. This is an experience that I've had to deal with going through for a car that is $100,000. This isn't, you know, and that's ridiculous, Chevrolet. You know, the Corvette is supposed to be a blue-collar worker, hot rod, that anybody working a job, I mean, maybe not, you know, a minimum wage job, but somebody that's working hard at a job, blue-collar work, could put their pennies together, save up for a couple years, and get a Corvette. That's what Corvette's always been, Chevy. And why in the hell is it $100,000 for the base model now is ridiculous. I can't even begin to talk. And y'all are going to say, oh, it's not $100,000. No, I want you to go out and price the $70 some odd thousand base price they have and start putting a couple options on it. You'd be shocked. And that's the one gripe I have about Chevy, is actually Porsche's options are officially cheaper than Chevrolet options. You can option the 911 or the 718 Cayman with suspension options and stuff like that way cheaper than you can the Corvette, and that's crazy, Chevrolet. That's your base model Corvette. For the fact it costs $2,700 for the lift kit in the front to go over curbs is ridiculous. For the fact the Z71 package is, or Z51 package is, what, $6,000 on top. And that doesn't even include the mag ride anymore. You have to buy that separately. So that Z51 package, I think in the C7, at least in the beginning, came with mag ride. Now to get mag ride on top of Z51, it's another couple $1,000s. So by the time you option out that $70-something thousand base car, it's a $93,000 car. That's what I optioned out, and I didn't even go crazy with it. I think in the end I took off the lifting system in the front just to take off a couple bucks, and that wasn't with the carbon roof, that wasn't with carbon fiber accents, and that was just a 2LT, not a 3LT. My price ended up, MSRP was $93,000. Well, you're saying that's not a $100,000 car? Well, add your sales tax to that. You're looking at $7,000 or $8,000 on top of $93,000 plus tax, title, and license. That $93,000 is probably more like a $104,000 car, $103,000. So, and that's the base model. And then on top of that, you're buying it through a Chevrolet dealership with 2-day-old popcorn, you know, next to somebody buying a Malibu. You're not being treated like you're buying a $100,000 car. In Chevrolet, if you're going to start selling cars at the prices you're selling Corvettes for, you need to start treating them like Porsche treats people. When I walked into a Porsche dealership, I didn't have 2-day-old popcorn. I was given hot coffee that was fresh and had all-you-can-eat M&Ms, trail mix, and they had all these candies out, and you know, they said they offer champagne sometimes to customers when they're looking at new cars. That's not the experience you get at Chevy. You're going to get 2-day-old popcorn, and you might get a free water, maybe some old coffee, but yeah, it's Chevrolet. You really let me down with the C8 Corvette, and I think you've let a lot of people down. And I understand, you know, like I said, there's 50,000 people a year that want a car y'all are only making 20,000 of. I think Ford with the Mustang probably would have made 50,000 cars because they could get that money. But Chevrolet, if you're not going to make 50,000 Corvettes, you at least got to get control of your dealerships and stop the price gouging. You know, if the waiting list is 22 months long, then people have to wait 22 months. That's the way it is. There's no 3 or 4 months swapping allocations here and here and this. And to me, that just tells me you're screwing somebody that's on the list that's waiting 22 months by doing this swap, so somebody gets a car for 10,000 more that's over people that are waiting on the list. That's just sounds so damn crooked to me. And I don't understand how Chevy isn't doing better than this. You're just pissing people off like me. And you know, I recommend people, if you're fed up with this too, like I did, go out and see what other companies have to offer. I was shocked that Porsche had options like they did and were as cheap as it was. I got a fully optioned Cayman for, you know, 10,000 less or more than I would have spent on the Corvette. So yeah, Corvette, I just wanted to make this video to kind of put the complaint out there. I know a lot of people are going through the same mess I did, and they're holding tight, they're waiting for it. But honestly, Chevy just pissed me off so much. I was like, the hell with this. It's ridiculous. You know, for the fact that giving thousands of dollars that didn't even go into the cards, going right to the dealership just to skip you in line, that's some crooked shit. That's all I can say. But anyway, just want to put this video out there. I don't know if it's going to get anywhere. I hope so. I hope somebody at Chevrolet corporate actually watches this and goes, hey, what the fuck are we doing, guys? But anyways, just wanted to put in my 2 cents. I know it's kind of a negative view video, but just know y'all that are out there dealing with the same weight that I was dealing with and all that, that you're not alone. There's other people that are going through it. And yes, it's a huge freaking headache. And I guess one other point before I end this video is, it doesn't seem, one other gripe I have, speaking of which, is the 22-month wait. They have 2 or 3 Corvettes, like Classic Chevrolet has 2 or 3 Corvettes for sale right now. The other Classic near my house has 2 or 3 Corvettes for sale right now. There's tons of them on sale, online for sale. The dealership I bought the Porsche from had 2 or 3 I saw in the background while he was taking pictures of it. So everybody has Corvettes for sale. So why is there a 22-month waiting list? I know those aren't people waiting for a museum delivery. It seems like Chevy could get together if they knew where their Corvettes were and say, hey, you want this option and this option? Well, there's a dealership, you know, you're down here in Arizona, but there's a dealership in Michigan that has a Corvette with the exact options you wanted. You know, why couldn't Chevy track their cars better to know? Because I'm sure a lot of those cars, or they're just not paying attention to the cars people are wanting, because you could probably put 2 and 2 together and we may not even have a waiting list right now. Who knows? But just another bitch, food for thought. But somebody at Chevrolet needs to get their head together and figure this out, because it's an entire shitstorm. But anyways, enough of my gripe and enough with a negative context video. If you like what you got in this video, maybe you wanted to vent too, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe below. I appreciate the support, and right now I definitely need it. So thank you so much, and I hope everybody has a great week.